Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Fuller. As Chair of the Board, I welcome you to this May 2nd, 2023 regular meeting of the Washtenaw County Board of Road Commissioners. I want to take this opportunity to welcome Jeff Schmers to the board. Jeff was appointed by the Washtenaw County Board of Commissioners at their April 19th, 2023 regular meeting to complete the term of the late Douglas Fuller. Jeff's appointment expires on December 31st, 2024. Our office coordinator, Aaron Smith, will now describe how our meetings operate, how to access the agenda packet, and how people may participate remotely. Aaron.
Thanks, Chair Fuller. There are multiple ways to make public comment during today's board meeting, whether you are joining us in person or virtually. If you're here in person and would like to make public comment, please fill out the sign-in sheet now. If you're joining us virtually, we will ask you to raise your hand at the appropriate time in the agenda. If you're joining us virtually and are experiencing technical issues with audio or video during the meeting, submit a comment in the chat feature and our communications manager will help you troubleshoot. The audio and video of this meeting is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be posted to wcroads.org in the next few days. There are printed copies of today's meeting agenda on the table near the front door, and it is also posted on our website. And now I'll turn it over to Chair Fuller.
Thank you, Aaron. I now call this May 2nd, 2023 regular meeting to order and ask Aaron to call the roll.
Chair Barb Fuller.
Present.
Vice Chair Rod Green.
Present.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Present.
Commissioner Joanne McCullum.
Present.
Commissioner Jeff Schmers.
Present.
The following directors are in attendance. Managing Director Cheryl Siddle is absent today, but Director of Engineering and County Highway Engineer Matt McDonald is in her place. Director of Operations Adam Lape and Director of Finance and IT Dan Ackerman.
Thank you. Now, if you would please join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I so move.
Second. Any changes? Any comments? Seeing none, Aaron, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Schmers.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCullum.
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
And Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. Next, may I have a motion to accept the board meeting minutes of April 18th, 2023, appearing on pages 4 through 13 of your packet?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion, additions, deletions, corrections? Seeing none, Aaron, if you would please.
Commissioner Jeff Schmers.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCullum.
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
And Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. The minutes are approved from our April 18th meeting. Next, may I have a motion to accept the closed session minutes of April 18th, 2023. The minutes, as you will notice, have been distributed to the places of the commissioners for review. I would appreciate a motion to adopt them as presented.
So move.
Support.
Any corrections? None. Aaron, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCullum.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Schmers.
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
And Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. The closed session minutes are approved as presented. Lastly, may I have a motion to accept the working session minutes of April 18th, 2023 as presented on pages 14 through 16 of our packet?
So move.
Second. Any corrections, additions, deletions? Seeing none, Aaron, if you would please.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Schmers.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCullum.
Yes.
And Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. Next item, this is public comment time. This is the time set aside on the agenda to receive comments from the public. This is not intended to be a period for dialogue. Each person will be allotted 3 minutes to address the board. Aaron will explain how people may be recognized to offer comments. Aaron.
Since this is a hybrid meeting with both in-person and virtual attendees, we will take turns between those attending in person and virtually. For virtual attendees, we have provided some instructions on the screen on how to participate and make public comment. If you're attending this meeting virtually and would like to make public comment, please raise your hand now. If you dialed into the meeting from your phone, you can raise your hand by dialing *9. Our communications manager will unmute virtual participants with raised hands one at a time and will announce your username or last four digits of your phone number when it is your turn to speak. Please share your name and address before beginning your comments. And for in-person attendees, we will start with those who have signed up on the sign-in sheet as you walked in. If you didn't sign in, you're still welcome to make comment. I'll notify you when it is your turn. At this time, there is no one that would like to make public comment.
Thank you, Erin. We will move on to written communications. They appear on pages 17 and 18 of the packet. Commissioners, do you have anything you want to draw our attention to or remark on? Seeing nothing, we will move on then. We will pass comment, follow up to comment since there were none.
Madam
next-
Chair,
Oh,
sorry,
Commissioner McCollum.
I didn't realize it was in that section. I believe it is the contact or the engineered solutions, contact engineered solutions. Is
What
that one
page
of-
are you referring to, please?
Let's see. The public, I don't know if it's there.
What are you looking
Matt,
for?
what, the engineer, contact engineer solutions? They're working on one of our projects.
I believe that's for the consent agenda, item 10, Old US 12 culvert project. There's a fabrication bid acceptance.
Oh, yes, that's right, that one.
Do you want to speak at that point in the agenda, since it's not part of written communications?
Yeah, I'll wait.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
You bet. We'll move along. New business consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented? Items 1 through 12 on pages 19 through 128 of the packet. May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move adoption of the consent agenda for items 1 through 12 as presented.
Thank you. Just second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. Commissioner McCollum.
Yes, the contact engineer solutions that's working on the, that was the culvert one?
That's
What
correct.
agenda item would you be referring to? please?
Okay, yes, let me find it here. Matt, did you?
Yeah, that's on page 23 of your board packet. That's consent agenda number 10, the Old US 12 culvert project. This is a fabrication bid acceptance. So we're purchasing the culvert pipe.
Is that what you were referring to, Commissioner?
Yeah, because they're the ones that we accepted their bid for
Yes.
that. Their bid was, yeah. So the it's Contech. I said Contech. It's CONTECH, Engineered Solutions. So their bid was 21,000 less. And when I looked at their website, I looked at both of their websites, the Contact Engineer Solutions has a very impressive website.
Okay.
And so it was easy to read, and they put a lot into that, and it tells a lot about them. So I'm just saying that that was a very good, I'm glad they made the choice to pick that company to do the work.
We've worked with them on a number of different culvert replacements, so they are an excellent supplier for this type of material. And for our procurement, because it's a significant purchase for materials, we did the bid letting. That's the reason why we had bids on this. And they oftentimes are the low bid. They do a great job, and we look forward to working with them on this project.
Thank you for the clarification. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, Aaron, if you would please call the roll on the consent agenda.
Commissioner Jeff Schmers,
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes,
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
and Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes. Next, we have new business. We have 3 action items to address today. May I have a motion to approve action item number 1, authorizing the installment purchase agreement for the new main yard material storage building, often called the salt barn. And I'm asking for a motion to approve this installment purchase agreement as presented. It is a very lengthy document, appears on pages 24, 25, and 26. The motion actually is on 3 pages. Background for this particular item appears on pages 69 through 82. If I may please have a motion.
Madam Chair, I motion this proposed motion as presented.
Thank you. A second.
Support.
Thank you. Any discussion? Mr. Ackerman?
Dan Ackerman, Director of Finance and IT. I'm just here if there's any questions you may have about anything there. It's quite lengthy. I did want to mention that Steve Mann from Miller Canfield is in the audience, bond counsel. Been great to work with. We've worked with him a long time and he's never steered us wrong. So, you know, certainly everything is in full compliance and everything, but just thought I would stand up here and see if there are any questions that any of you may have.
Again, I just want to clarify for the record, it's a lengthy motion.
Yes.
Legal counsel advised that it was acceptable to adopt it with the phrasing as presented, but it is in the board packet.
Yes.
So anyone who wants to read it in its entirety, it's there publicly available to do so. No questions for Mr. Ackerman. Thank you, Dan. Aaron, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCullum,
Yes.
and Commissioner Bart Fuller.
Yes, motion is approved as presented. Thank you for being here, Steve. All right, action item number 2. May I have a motion to approve action item number 2 to approve the 2023 first quarter budget amendments as presented. The motion itself appears on page 27.
Madam Chair, I move that upon the recommendation of the Director of Finance and IT and the concurrence of the Managing Director, that the board hereby approves the 2023 first quarter budget amendments as presented.
Support.
Thank you. Just note the background on this particular item appears on pages 116 through 128. Any discussion or questions for our Director of Finance and IT? We went over this at length at our last working session. And there were no changes, I believe. You
If I may
indicated.
point out,
Please.
as we discussed, if there are any changes to any budget adjustments that you saw from the working session, we would communicate that, and there are none.
Thank you.
Mhm.
There are no questions or further discussion. Aaron, if you would please call the roll.
Commissioner Joanne McCullum,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs,
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
and Commissioner Bart Fuller.
Yes. Our last action item is action item number 3. May I have a motion to approve action item number 3, authorizing the chair to execute the quit claim deed and conveyance of the corrected right-of-way as described. The motion appears on page 28. Background is on 116 through 128. I misstated the background pages in the last action item.
Madam Chair, that upon the recommendation of the Director of Engineering, County Highway Engineer, and concurrence of the Managing Director, the board hereby authorizes the chair to execute the attached quitclaim deed conveying any interest in the parcel referred to as tax parcel J-10-32-400-008 and commonly referred to as 1661 LaForge Road, provided the Washtenaw County Building Authority conveys the corrected right-of-way via warranty deed to this board.
A second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Well, hi, Kurt.
Good
What do
afternoon.
you have to tell us about this?
Kurt Brochet, Project Manager, right of way. We were informed through council for Washtenaw County that there was an error in the description when they performed title work. And this deed exchange would ultimately correct that error 2002. And we also have Alan Feldberg online if we have any more legal questions involving this.
Okay.
But just wanted to assure the board that this is a correction to what was obviously done back in 2002 and 2004. We've already made road improvements out there, so it's not necessary for any action that we need to take to improve the roadway. So everything's taken care of already.
So this is kind of a cleanup housekeeping step.
A third attempt and a correct attempt. So yes.
Strikes, that's all you get. Okay. Any questions? Commissioner Green?
And so I just wondering, has the warranty deed that is referenced in this proposal been submitted already, or is it going to be submitted?
It will be submitted to the county board for consideration. Understanding is that they're gonna approve it, and then subsequently, they're gonna transfer the forgive me, BD Head Start building over to the school district rather than the county holding it.
Thank you.
Good question. Any others? Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you.
Aaron, please.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs,
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum,
Yes,
Commissioner Rod Green,
Yes.
and Commissioner Bart Fuller.
Yes. Next item on our agenda are the reports, and I see that we have Commissioner Sanders with us today, District 4. Commissioner Sanders, good afternoon, and please share your thoughts with us.
Good afternoon. No thoughts. Just glad to be in the audience.
Thank you. Commissioner Light does not appear, is that correct, Tiffany?
Yes.
Okay, so we will move on to the report of the road commissioners. Commissioner McCollum, if you would start us off, please.
sure. I can do that. Okay. So I viewed several of the virtual public meetings. The first one was the Michigan Avenue Road Reconstruction Project. I also viewed the Laura Road Resurfacing Project. I viewed the Huron River Drive Resurfacing Project. And on May 1st, I attended the Southeast Council meeting and reported of the last meeting of the committee, the Commissioners Committee meeting. Thank you. That's my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Yamas.
So I too viewed a lot of on YouTube, and thank you for posting those because they're great. The Michigan Avenue project, which is very interesting, and attempted to post it on social media, my social media next door. And watched the Lore Road resurfacing project and the Huron River View project. And thank you for posting those. And I also attended the Southeast Council meeting in Monroe on May 1st. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Green.
Thank you. I have no report other than to say that I'm responsible for the chat session for tomorrow.
All right, very good. Commissioner Schmers, any remarks you'd like to make?
All I've been doing is the last couple days is watching previous meetings and trying to read up on the minutes and packets and try and get up to speed quickly, and I'm happy to be here.
Great. Welcome. Once again, welcome. My report, I participated in the Commissioner chat sessions of April 19th and 23rd. There were no visitors on either occasion. I attended the inaugural Washtenaw County Road Commissioner Legislator Breakfast, actually held here on April 24th, 2023. It was very well attended by the state representatives and one of our state senators, Senator Sue Shink, sent her regrets. There was an urgent and mandatory Appropriations Committee meeting that same morning that came up on very short notice, so she could not join us. But as you will notice, you have all received the current citizen guide for the 102nd legislative session, which she wanted all of you to have at her as a courtesy from her office. On May 1st, I attended the Southeast Council of Road Commissioners meeting as well. It was hosted by and convened at the Monroe County Road Commission. There were several worthwhile presentations given to us, one of which was the Michigan County Road Commission Self-Insurance Pool Representative, Gail Cummings. We refer to that typically as McChrysip. She sent home with us 500-page 3-ring binders. And in that binder, there is a section chapter 20 that talks about model ethical rules. And I encourage everyone to start with that chapter and read through it. I found it very instructive for the role of board members of the commission. Lots of other good information, but that chapter in particular is very relevant for the way we conduct business and conduct ourselves here. I'm also going to distribute the evaluation instrument that we have used in the past. And it's used for other employees of the road commission. If you would take one, please, and pass it on. This is for our managing director. We do an annual performance evaluation for our managing director. Lots of questions there, feedback, comments, greatly appreciated, in addition to numeric levels of ratings for these various sections. I ask that you complete it and return it to me, if at all possible, by May 16th. That's our meeting, our next meeting. I then compile the comments and meet with Cheryl on June 1st to go over those. And then all of your individual submissions are submitted to Nicole Peterson, our director of HR, which go on file. So don't be concerned that I'm going to edit or modify your comments and she'll never see them. I just try to boil them down so when she and I meet on the 1st, we're not going through 5 of these things item by item. So if you would please pay attention to that and get them back to me. Commissioner McCollum.
Yes, is this online? Can we
Right.
do- Yeah. thought we
I
did it
don't
last-
remember.
We do have a PDF we
Usually
can
it's-
circulate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aaron, would you please push that out to us as well, please? I use mine to do the rough draft
Yeah.
because
That's a good idea.
I work better that way. But
Sure.
if you're comfortable doing it hard copy, that's great. I'll take that and compile it. If you can and are willing to submit it digitally, I would guess that Nicole would appreciate having it that way as well. So just please give it some thought. Cheryl is always very grateful for any comments that she receives in that respect. All right. So we will move on to the managing director report. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Yamas.
So I need to amend mine. I too, my.
Amend
report-
what? Your
My
commissioner
commissioner's
report?
report, yeah.
All right, Aaron, if you would please get to that part of your notes and
So
she's ready.
I too attended the legislative breakfast, which was excellent. And thanks for jogging my memory on that issue. And I guess my question took care of that. Last year, we did do our survey online. So let it be
Okay.
available again.
Great,
Okay, thank you.
thanks. I assume it's going to be a fill-inable
Yeah. mhm.
PDF.
And one more thing, Barb or maybe Nicole brought back those 500 paged books for all of us.
Right.
On the commission. So yeah, good luck.
No, but
was
seriously,
really
start
good.
with chapter 20.
Chapter
And then I've got that on my dining room table, and in the morning when I have my first coffee, I'm going to do a chapter because there's an absorption rate for me anyway on things like that. Commissioner Green, yours is in the office,
Thank
and
you.
Commissioner Schmerzer's as well. You two took yours home, as
Yes.
did I
Right.
yesterday.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner McCollum?
I'd like to admit something on my commissioner report. I did attend the breakfast also, the legislative breakfast
right.
also.
All right, and Commissioner Green
Yes.
attended as well.
Yes.
You had to leave early, but you attended.
Yes, I did attend.
We all attended. It
We
was
have so
wonderful.
many wonderful things that we're
Very nice.
involved with. It's hard to keep track.
It is, it is. Any other closing thoughts on what we covered? No? Okay, all right. So we will move on now to the managing director report, staff reports, and any road commission updates, noting that our director of engineering and highway engineer, Matt McDonnell, is standing in for managing director Siddle, who can't be with us today. So I'll turn it over to you, Matt.
Good afternoon, commissioners, and thank you. I wanted to first start out by asking if there was any questions on the materials in your board packet. The reports from 129 to 139. There's finance and HR and various other reports. Any questions on that?
I don't see any.
All right, well, I can immediately go into the engineering report. We are underway on various projects, but I'll first start out with letting you know the ARPA culvert and or stormwater grants that the Washtenaw County Water Resource Commissioner's Office was due May 1st. So that was yesterday. I'll let you know that our staff prepared and scoped over 20 applications, which was great. We don't know that all 20 actually made it into the applications because the townships have to submit that.
Oh,
We anticipate there's probably 10 to 15 applications that were submitted this round. So we're very excited about working with the Water Resource Commissioner's Office to look at and evaluate. I think we're going to have a role in that. And we're always looking for opportunities for funding and partnerships. So this is a unique one. And we were very excited to see all the interest in that program.
and I want to thank you and your staff for partnering with the townships, many of whom have no inside engineers or consultants on staff or even by contract to have helped meeting. This was a pretty compressed timeline, as I recall.
It was.
So kudos to you and your staff for being able to help all of them. That's a great turnout in
Yeah,
terms
that-
of applications.
Absolutely. And hopefully it'll net some good results, and we'll be looking forward to partnering with them. What we'd anticipate is the grant awards would come out, and then eventually an agreement would come to this board for those culvert projects, most of which would take place probably next construction season,
24,
Right.
2024. Okay,
2024.
that's great.
Yeah. So also starting construction season, even though the weather isn't quite cooperating quite yet, we are underway with several projects. Lower Road is a millage project that we're in Pittsfield Township for. That roadway was pulverized and closed, so paving is scheduled, hopefully, if the rain stays away later this week. We also are anticipating a closure. I know we had mentioned the Michigan Avenue project. We had a virtual meeting. That road closure between I-94 and Hewitt Road will take place. It's scheduled for May 12th. So our contractor will mobilize, close the road, and begin removals that following week. We also are getting on the schedule Textile Road, another millage funded project in Ypsilanti Township. Looking at milling possibly the end of this week, beginning of next. That segment is going to be from Bridge to Rossville Road. I'm sure we'll get that on the weekly update. Also looking ahead on a very important segment of Huron River Drive, south of the river there in Dixboro Road, all the way down to Clark, over by the Washtenaw Community College and St. Joe's campus there. We're going to be resurfacing that roadway. It will be a top course mill and resurface. We're looking at coordinate that work middle of May.
Not a road closure though, right?
No, we're going to be maintaining traffic, and we're working very closely with the hospital.
Okay,
Those
Okay.
businesses and college campus as well. Good news is WCC has completed courses for this semester, so it will be a less of an impact for that college campus.
and hopefully safer for our workers because traffic volume should be reduced.
Absolutely. Obviously, St. Joe's Trinity Hospital is very busy, and we're going to be working very closely with them. Also underway, working in construction, is the border segment of D3 that is along Huron River Drive between Zeeb Road and the Delhi Metro Park. We had some road closures. Those culverts were completed for replacement, and the path work is ongoing, as well as that's in partnership with the Washtenaw County Parks and Recreation Commission. Platte Greenway in partnership with Pittsfield Township. That project continues and is underway. That is south of Michigan Avenue. And then we have various permanent work going on. A lot of consumer pipeline energy is going to occupy us for the summer. So that work has begun and continues. And then also Pittsfield Township is continuing on their sanitary sewer project over by Textile Road, just east of Carpenter, between Carpenter and Crane. So that road is closed for that purpose. that concludes my engineering report. Happy to answer any questions about projects that are planned or any of the ones I mentioned.
Commissioner Green.
Yes. And the border trail that you made reference to on Zebro, is that something we're completing?
Yes, so that is a federally funded TAP project that's on Huron River Drive between Zeeb and Delhi. So we have an agreement between us and Washtenaw County Parks and Recreation Commission. They're paying for anything in excess of the grant amount. So that's a TAP funded project. And I believe a lot of those local match that they're paying us for is coming from our countywide millage for that 20% of non-motorized.
And what's the expected date of completion for that?
That's a great question. There is project schedule is to be done this year, but as with all project involving a railroad, there's always a chance for delay. Because that bridge that goes over the Huron River is adjacent to the Amtrak rail system line there. So
Right.
there's always that potential. We're having difficulty with the contractor submitting a bridge erection plan, and they have to prove that before work can begin. So our contractor, I don't know that has a lot of experience in dealing with Amtrak, so we're working with them closely to get them through that process. So that's the only hiccup I can imagine is really the bridge portion of that project that may take us into the next construction season. Hopefully that's not the case, but I just want to make the board aware that there is a potential.
Sure.
Thank you.
Commissioner Yamas.
So the Huron River Drive, I saw that St. Joseph Hospital has sent some communication, right, to you about concerns for their entrance, but I know there are two different entrance ways into Trinity Hospital or St. Joseph Hospital. So their concerns were addressed. Are they satisfied with their concerns of that?
Yeah, we're working with their facilities folks and also making sure that we have a very good understanding of when shift change occurs at a hospital. My wife is a nurse, so I can appreciate, getting to the hospital is very important, and all the staff that goes in through the shift change and also emergency services, because that emergency driveway, which is very well marked and delineated, is along that section we're going to be resurfacing. So we want to make sure we're coordinating with the hospital very closely. The good news is there's other points of access. They have a whole ring road that's basically a private road. They can come off Clark Road for the duration of the paving. We're also looking at potentially milling it in the day and paving it at night. Cadillac Asphalt is our contractor. They have a lot of experience in working safely at night and doing a night operation. If that can help facilitate some of the expediting the project and also addressing some of the hospital's concern, we might go that direction as well.
Okay, because I did notice there are two entrances. There's one to the main hospital off of Huron Drive and the emergency, but I also know, as you speak about their private
Clark
drive on Clark Road, there are two
Right.
ways to enter.
Basically, right at the end of Hewitt Road by the Eastern Convocation Center Drive,
Yes.
you can go directly into that campus for Trinity St. Joe.
And clearly you've been in touch with first responders and HVA about.
Absolutely,
all of
that will be a part of our communication. We're going to be making sure all the townships are involved because you've got Superior, Ann Arbor, all in that area, and making sure our emergency services are well informed of this project.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner McCollum.
The Michigan Avenue project, I know there was a resident that asked, because we're doing the north part of that on Michigan Ave and 94.
Hmm.
And then MDOT would be doing the south part.
I don't believe that work has been programmed. They're certainly aware of the pavement condition, and we tried to advocate for funding to do the project at the same time. Unfortunately, they've got a lot of work going on in Washtenaw County, but that one has not yet been programmed, is my understanding. We will often trying to work cooperatively and coordinate these things, but the stars did not align on Michigan Avenue, unfortunately. We're going to be doing our piece north of the interchange to Hewitt Road. And we're going to, MDOT is responsible for the interchange in south. So they are going to have to program that and communicate with residents. And we certainly can provide a contact for those that are interested in talking to MDOT about that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Yamas.
So to that YouTube video of that project was excellent in explaining that portion that is not ours, because I know Commissioner Sanders was interested in that part of Michigan Avenue from Hewitt over across the overpass. So it will be interesting that, you know, that question about who does what. So as I said, I attempted to put it on some social media sites to try and prepare people of the closures and why we're not. I totally understand why we're not. That's not within our purview or our authority. That's MDOT. And
Yeah, and that's a great point. We've got project pages on our website for big projects like that. The video for the information meetings posted. Any updates will be posted on that project page. So if residents have concerns, we can get them signed up on the project page as well.
So if they go to our website, they can subscribe for updates on that particular project. They don't have to get updates for every project. that
Absolutely.
we're
It's a la
involved in.
carte subscription, a la carte.
Thank you. Good questions.
Okay.
Anything else for Matt?
With that, I would like to welcome up our Finance and IT Director, Dan Ackerman, for his report.
Are you not
Good
green?
afternoon, Commissioners. Just want to make sure people online can hear me. Dane Ackerman, Director of Finance and IT. Before I start with my report, I just want to mention, so Steve Mann from Miller Canfield, our bond counsel, commented as during our meeting. He said it's one of the most well-run professional meetings he's ever attended, and he attends a lot of these meetings. So kudos to all of you and Tiffany as well. You know, it's nice when people from the outside kind of notice that too. So certainly he did, it was unprompted and he didn't have to say anything, but just thought I'd share that with you. So it made me feel good and proud about what we're doing here. So for finance, we submitted our 2022 Act 51 report on time. We received an acknowledgement from the Act 51 department from the state of Michigan that it's received and accepted. And that's important because if we fail to meet that deadline, they can potentially hold our Michigan transportation funds. So certainly we want to make every effort. You can ask for an extension. I'm proud to say we've never had to ask for an extension. One of my first years, many moons ago, I believe I drove the report up to Lansing to make sure to submit it on time. So that's something, you know, a goal I've kind of set to try and, you know, submit it on time every year. So we've been
But
able to
that
do
was
that.
back in the day of hard copy. It was before.
It was
fax
probably snail
machine.
mail. That's right.
Yeah,
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 exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't even think emails anyway. Yeah, it was a long
No,
time
no,
ago. so-
certified mail if you
That's
had time.
right.
in other ways.
Yes. So I've been sharing with you the fraud attempts on our checks. We received an urgent email from the county treasurer's office. Apparently counterfeit bills are being circulated in Washtenaw County. I don't know if any of you heard this.
Mhm.
So another thing to worry about, I guess. They just want us to be vigilant. You know, obviously, if you know, if there's a picture of Miguel Cabrera on the $100 bill, it's probably fake.
I haven't
Just
seen one of those in a
example.
long time.
Yeah, right. And you know, so we appreciate their heads up on it. So Catherine McClary is the county treasurer, and she was actually interviewed by WXYZ Channel 7 recently. So if you want to do a search there, I can forward the video to you. So pretty impressive that you know, they're reaching out to her to just you know, kind of pick her brain and what can you do and so on. So what does that mean for the Washtenaw County Road Commission? Well, we deal with very little cash. We are using PayPal for a lot of our permits activities and then checks. So really the impact on us is minimal, but you know me, we're still going to try to do something if we can. Tracy Balkwell, who handles our payroll, and I believe you met at our last meeting. She has a background in money and banking, and she suggested for $4, we can buy a pen that you just kind of swipe the bill there, and one color is good and another color says it's counterfeit. So we may want to invest in a couple of those just to kind of protect our interests a little more. So I don't know if there's any questions on that at all, but I did share that email with our leadership team, as well as those that primarily would be handling any cash, just again for their awareness. But you know, just another thing to worry about, I guess. So any questions on that at all? Okay, moving on. So I was hoping to have a resolution for you for the Protecting Michigan Pension Grant. And for Commissioner Smers, just a little background on that. The state of Michigan has about $750 million available for what they feel is pensions that are underfunded. And basically, if it's below 60%, they're considered underfunded, and that money can be used to get up to 60%. So certainly, and we're, I think, about 54, 55%. So we would qualify for this grant. So we've been following it for a while now. You know, in mid-April, you could start applying to the state of Michigan to qualify for the grant money. But there's never been a board resolution provided with all their instructions. You think they would say, use this board resolution, put your entity's name on it, and so on. So I reached out to MERS, who handles our pension, and I asked, you know, if they had a sample resolution. They said no. They said it should be in the FAQs with this Protecting Michigan Grant Program, because there's a big 30-page FAQ. There was nothing about a sample resolution. So I reached out to the Michigan Treasury, and this was last week, and they said, okay, we've received this question a lot, and they said, we'll have something soon. I reached out to, we have a listserv, so you can send an email out to all the finance directors for all the road commissions in the state of Michigan. So I sent something out to all of them, just asking if they had samples, and I received about half a dozen. So I have one ready to go. But sometimes with these things, if you're not dotting your I's and crossing your T's, you think you have the best sample, best resolution, but then they say, oh, it's rejected because you didn't mention whatever. So, so I followed up with the Michigan Treasury again, and I said, I still don't see a sample resolution, you know, and our board meets, you know, twice a month. I'm concerned about time, because by June 15th, that's the end of being able to submit. So there's a bit of a deadline. Obviously, we'll have at least one board meeting or two prior to, and there's other things we could do if we need the board to pass that resolution. So I've not heard back yet. It's a bit frustrating, I won't lie. You know, when something goes live, you know, hey, you can now submit your application, but it's kind of incomplete as far as the instructions. That gets a little frustrating. And I know a lot of my colleagues around the state have also been asking for it too. So like I said, I'm disappointed. I was hoping to have that resolution today, but you know, I want to give it a little more time. And Cheryl and I talked, and we went, and Aaron as well. And, you know, we kind of went back and forth, and we said, okay, well, we still have plenty of time. I'm not concerned about the money running out or anything like that. So we'll wait, and I'm hoping by the next board meeting, I'll have that sample resolution, and we can finalize things and get our application submitted. Any questions on that at all?
If I could suggest, if you're feeling like you're not getting anywhere with this, we have, I believe, 6 representatives in Lansing now from Washtenaw County. The
Okay.
number grew considerably after the new districts were adopted.
Okay.
So
Okay.
those calls get answered.
It's nice to know we have those options. We hope we don't have to go there, but certainly
Yeah.
I would not be afraid to go there if I'm getting even more concerned about it.
Okay.
So I appreciate you mentioning that. Anything else on that at all? Okay, if you want to turn to the last page of your board packets. So Commissioner Smers, every month we share the Michigan Transportation Fund's receipts, and that's from the gas tax and license and registration fees. So certainly it's very important to us. and we monitor it closely. Occasionally they change estimates on it. Occasionally there's big swings, high or low, and we ask for explanations, but really that's kind of one of the lifebloods of the road commission. So we're obviously very interested in that, and we share it with the board every month. But so March of 23 compared to March of 2022 is up about 3%. And for the year, it's up 2%, which is right within budget. So no concerns there. But again, just want to share that. So any questions on that? Okay, and then IT, room 106, we mentioned we're going to get some technology in there similar to conference room 234. And that work is scheduled for May 8th. So we're excited for that work to start and hopefully can be completed in short order. Yesterday, we started rolling out new cell phones for the employees, and Chris and Josh put tremendous amount of forethought into making it as smooth as possible process. It was probably an hour to 2 hours from when an employee dropped it off to when they had their new phone, and it worked just like their old phone, except it's a new one, and it was amazing. Just the technology that's available to transfer text messaging and apps and everything else. And they thought of everything, and, you know, just very detail oriented, which you have to be with these things because, you know, a couple things came up, but we were able to handle it just because of how well prepared they were. And hopefully the employees felt it was a positive experience. I know Adam and Brent both were there yesterday. So, yes.
So who all has phones? Do the technicians all have phones, or are those all administrative people who have?
I want to say there's maybe 60 some phones. There's quite a few. I believe all the technicians have phones.
Yes, anyone that works in the field will have a road commission cell phone for the engineering technicians.
For engineering technicians?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the foreman and our group leaders. Thank you. Thank you, Adam.
You know, it's become quite a tool for us to conduct business. There's Teams on there, so you can have Teams meetings. You know, the technology is pretty awesome, and it allows, in particular, field staff to still stay connected to what's going on here. So,
Thank you.
That answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, okay. Also, you may have noticed some new Prox card readers. There's one right outside of here. There's one in the elevator. And then several other places as well. So we initially, and I don't remember the year, we put in Prox card readers. For instance, to get back into engineering or administration here requires the badge, just for security measures. But we knew we wanted to do more with that. So we finally have the budget and the capacity to do so. So we're going to put several other Prox card readers, especially the elevator is important, I think. You want to make things as safe as possible for staff. You know, all the time you kind of hear about things happening at businesses, so we want to try to do what we can to minimize those possibilities. So we've got several of the readers, Chris Quinter and operations are working together to coordinate this effort. The next thing we're going to do is determine access levels for everybody. Is it 24/7? Is it limited? There's some IT rooms with servers and so on that we want to really restrict access to. You know, majority of the organization doesn't need to be in the server room. So, and it's nice too, because then you know who went where at what times. So just an added level of security, and you know, you can never have enough security in my opinion. So it's nice to see that this project is getting closer to completion.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner McCollum.
Yes, yesterday at the Southeast Council meeting in Monroe, someone did mention that it's important that you protect your servers.
Yes.
And they did a test. I think it was a couple of places. They walked in and they were, you know, if they wanted to, would have had access to the servers and would have been able to take them.
They like walked into the room.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, at Monroe.
It was
Gail.
Gail
It
from the
was
Chris
Gail.
said she sent secret shoppers out
Yeah.
there. Essentially, right? And she said there were a couple of places where they could have walked in and taken the server. Now, I don't think anyone could pick up all of our and take it, but it was kind of scary
Well,
to
and
think
you never know,
about.
like if it's after hours, right? There could be more time, less people watching what's going on, but there's a lock to get where Chris and Josh are, and then another lock to where the servers are. And then it's climate controlled and everything else too. But that, yeah, I mean, not even just, picking it up and leaving with it. You could also, if you know what you're doing, cause some damage that way too, if you have access to it. So that's really scary. So yeah, you want to protect your, with some very valuable assets, and we want to do what we can to protect those. And then, protect staff too with some of the security measures. So, between the elevator now, both doors here into administration and engineering and the boardroom, it'd be more difficult, I think, if somebody wanted to cause harm or what have you, to be able to do so. And I think we should all feel good about that.
Thank you for that.
Okay, any other questions?
I don't see it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Dan.
Dan.
Thank you.
Next up, we have our Director of Operations, Adam Leip.
Snowing.
I refuse to answer it. No, it's not snowing, thankfully, at the moment. Good afternoon, Adam Leip, Director of Operations. Our update today, thankfully, isn't to talk about the snow, it's to talk about the construction season, which has finally got moving for us despite some less than favorable conditions here recently. We are performing surface maintenance throughout the county, and that continues as is since the snow did truly stop. Despite those conditions, our local road projects in Saline and York Township will actually be completed. The first agreements will be completed by next week, unless we have a major weather change. Yeah, so it was great to hit the ground running.
What were those townships again? Celine and,
Saline and York.
oh, good.
Yeah. So the local road program is moving full steam ahead, and as you see in the agenda, we're gearing up for an increased workload here as these township agreements are, signed and submitted to us for your approval at board level. So we're excited for that. It's been great coordination from all the departments to kind of get us up and get us going for this year. So we're appreciative of that. And then the material storage building, the pre-construction processes and permitting, all of that is nearly complete. This week, when Mother Nature cooperates, we're going to start doing some site survey and some grade staking so we could actually begin excavation hopefully next week. And short and sweet, that's our update, but we are excited for it. A lot of good things happening. So if there aren't any other questions, that's all I have for this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Adam. Anything further, Mr. McDonald? No.
Nothing else to report?
All right. There's nothing else to come before the board. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second. Thank you. It occurs to me I need to insert here. Our next working session is on May 16th at 9 a.m. followed by our regular board meeting at 1. Next virtual chat, as Commissioner Green indicated, tomorrow he is on tap for that session. And then on May 10th, it's Commissioner Yamas who will be staffing the chat, and we'll be folding Commissioner Schmerz into that rotation shortly. Call the roll, please.
Okay. Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Rod Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Schmers.
Yes.
Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, we are adjourned. And our communications manager has asked us to just let our flat screen, leave them alone. She'll turn them off somehow.